So you're Alessio and Oleksiy from Bark, from New York. Can you introduce yourself?
Okay,
Sure. Alessio, you want to go?
yeah. Okay, I'm Alessio. I'm originally from Italy. I moved here 8 years ago, almost 9. And I always, I've been a musician all my life. And when I moved here, I went to different music projects. And one was a band with Alexi that we were looking for a drummer, and we put an ad on Craigslist, which is like an online website where you can, find people to collaborate with. And we became friends. That project ended, I would say, 4 or 5 years ago. And then we decided to start a new music venture, which is Bark. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he said everything pretty much. I moved here around the same time. Maybe I moved to LA first, and then settled in New York. Yeah, but we kind of we found. I mean, I found a few of my friends through through Craigslist. So there's that has been definitely a big influence. Very unusual, but very effective. Ended up being very effective.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
random.
that's very short. Yeah.
What is your musical background? Oleksiy, you're a drummer, and Alessio, you're the guitarist. But maybe you
Yes.
can play some other instruments.
Yeah, we're kind of forced to play everything. You know, as you said, I'm a percussionist, and I come from a free jazz kind of scene, and I still play a lot. I tour a lot with a bunch of jazz groups. But over the years, we were forced to learn to play keyboards, even though that's not our main instrument. Forced to play bass because we don't want to call session players all the time. So we just kind of try to be as autonomous as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have several vocalists for Bark. You don't sing yourself? Sing, I mean.
Way too conscious, way too self-conscious. So
Yeah.
yes.
Plus, we really think like our sound is pretty like dark with a lot of low in the very rich in the low frequency range with this sub bass and synthesizer. So I think we think like a female vocal will definitely match and bring some light to our music. So, and we like different kind of vocals for different songs. So we like the idea to have an open phone where we can collaborate with different singers, and choose the singers based on the sound of the song, on the idea of the song.
The singers are part of the band, or do you meet them only from time to time, or only for live shows?
Yeah, they're not really part of the band, but we use like the same 3 or 4 singers pretty much all the time, but we open to meet new people and collaborate with new people all the time. But we have a couple of songs. The last one with the Crystal, and we are gonna do another one with her soon. And then we have other 2 that are coming out with another singer. So we use always the same 3-4 people for the project, but they are not technically part of the band.
Yeah.
Are they exclusive for your band, or they sing for other projects?
No, they all have their own projects, and you know, if they like the song and they want to collaborate, that's it. We just start from there.
Well, in
But
that
they have-
sense, it's very much a more production situation where even though people contribute to songwriting and everything, but we try to approach it as again, as independent and as transparent as possible. So we try not to get into the whole exclusivity kind of situations, or because people like to do their own things as well.
Okay. You just said that your sound was quite dark. What are your main influences regarding your music?
Main influences.
That's
I
a hard
think-
one.
Yeah, I mean, they changed a lot during my whole life, for example. But we were both very influenced by metal, definitely, in our early
Heavy metal.
heavy metal. Yeah. So and dark metal, not like glam rock or stuff like that. So that's definitely a main influence. We both like trip hop, like Massive Attack and Portishead are definitely a big influence for us, as well as industrial bands like Einstürzende, Neubauten, and for all the, especially for this song, the last single, all the EBM German bands like DAF or all that scene, like EBM minimal scene. That's basically our main influences. And Alexi, I mean, Alexi is more toward jazz, maybe. More.
Yeah, I come from as I said, it was more like a free jazz scene. So there's a lot of that kind of grandeur and the instrumentation. A lot of times comes from that. So that's where that's where the compromise happens. So there's definitely a lot of different, very, very different influences, coming from like Nina Simone meeting Blixa Bargild or something, and that's a very, very odd kind of combination. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you play acoustic instruments and adding some electronic sounds. Do you consider yourself as an acoustic or an electronic band?
I don't think there's. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, acoustic. We don't really use many. We don't use acoustic guitars very often. For example, I like the mix. I like definitely blending in the more synth sounds with the acoustic drums and acoustic bass.
Yeah, but a lot of times, the acoustic bass is triggered into a synthesizer later. So we record the drums we record live, but then we re-trigger them to replace some of the sounds with electronic sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always this kind of fight between the acoustic and electronic. But I guess that's what makes the sound.
So
Yeah.
you trigger the sound, and I guess it lets you improvise, or you are stuck to a tape.
What we kind of ended up doing over the years, we tried using electronic drums at some point and all that kind of stuff. We do sometimes, but it just it turns out that the more natural way of doing it is to record a really say with the drums, to record real very well sounding drums and then make it sound very very different after the fact. So and then luckily this position where we can record hours and hours at a time, so we're not very limited to what the end up product is going to be and how long we're actually going to spend on the recording. So there's a lot of fiddling. We're re-recording stuff all the
There's
time.
a lot of experimentation is definitely, there is a lot of research in the sound and experimentation, definitely. Yep.
So you just released a brand new single, which is Cold and Silent, if I understood, and I liked it very much.
Thank you.
Are there some other tracks coming? Do you plan to release a new EP or LP?
Yes, we will release a new EP in spring, hopefully. We have another single coming out next month, and we are working on 2 or 3 more songs. So the EP will be like probably 4 or 5 songs. And then we have a mini EP of remixes of Cold and Silent. One I did myself, and 2 are from 2 DJs from Italy. So it's going to be an interesting combination of remixes there. Yeah, they will be out more closer to the summer. Yep.
It is said that Italian people does it better.
That's true. Absolutely.
You have a wonderful movie with the single. How do you come to work with the people who made it?
Well, that's the best part about New York is that you no matter whether you like it or not, you end up meeting a lot of people. So we were very lucky to meet this this DP, this director of photography, a few years ago. We became very close friends. Then he introduced us to this director that ended up directing the last music video. She's an amazing, very very strong vision kind of person. So a lot of that was decided even without us. So it's just a lot of contacts that end up happening here. And just the quality of work that people produce here a lot of times is amazing by default. So, but they were able to scramble a huge crew and a lot of stuff that we couldn't even think about because we're very much musicians. But slowly but steadily, we're also getting into the music video production and all that kind of stuff. So, but we're very lucky with meeting all these people and how excited they were to work on the song, how excited they were to work on the concept, and the end product is amazing. So couldn't be happier.
I saw your live videos on your website, which are great.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to see you and hear you. Maybe you will come in Europe someday.
Well, actually, touring for us I tour a lot in Europe with some bands that I'm playing jazz with, but we're definitely looking into starting touring sometime later this year once we're done with all the releases. We just did one show for the Fashion Week here, and we're gonna start booking a little later this year. But definitely, France is probably one of the first places we're gonna go to because I work in France a lot, and so there's a lot of connections there.
Great. Okay. Do you have anything to say?
Well, thanks for reaching out. I mean, it's great.
Thank you
Glad
very
you
much
liked
for
it.
the support. It's New York as Alexis said is it's a good place for to create, but it's a nightmare to get a little attention probably for the
Yeah, there's it's way too many people. It's way too
very
busy most of the
saturated.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very saturated. So actually, as you said, with the touring, a lot of times for us, playing out works out a lot better in Europe. I mean, it's night and day compared to the
Yep.
States. So definitely coming out soon.
We I have a different feeling from Europe because I feel that there are much more live shows in this United States than here. I mean, in France at least. Maybe in UK it's different. And
But that's why. Yeah.
It's in our case, it's probably Europe. It's more open-minded towards like experimentation in music. I think.
Sure.
US is more like a mass, more commercial.
Market,
like yeah, exactly. So
And
for
plus,
our
I mean,
in our specific case, in our case, probably Europe will fit better for our music.
yeah, and plus, having less concerts a lot of times is not a bad thing. Having in New York, what is it? Like we have probably 500-600 shows a day just in the city, and that's I mean, luckily, especially like with this last event that we did, I mean, it was very packed. It was great, but normally, it's a struggle to get the shows together. Even the touring is a little gets a little overwhelming. It's just a lot easier and a lot more responsive, it feels like, in Europe. So I don't know. We'll see.
So I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
And
Thank
looking
you.
forward to listen to your new music.
Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you very much for the support.